What's up, Varun? What's up? I think half of my face is sick.
Dude, what did you do? You closed the first space.
Yeah, I closed it. I thought I saw Cameron's space came back, so I just closed it down. I was gonna,
Oh, was
I
he
was
on a
just,
space? I didn't see his space
yeah, he
on
was on a
cam.
space and it just shut down in the middle of Nyasha talking. It just shut down.
Oh, but send him the link. Or like invite him back. I think
Oh,
Nash or Cameron. I think he's online.
oh, who is?
Nash and Cameron, both of them are.
I don't know if they'll see if they're coming. They're coming. You know,
Yeah, what were you guys on about?
I don't know what they were talking about. I just came on. Apparently, Nyasha was talking about Max and his being a bitch. Complaining about stuff and whatnot, and people seem to be scared of actually criticizing him and all this shit,
Yeah.
and basically accommodating his BS. But it is what it is. So and then it just cut off. I guess Twitter didn't like the name Max Verstappen being talked about, so I think that should.
Oh yeah, he said his battery ran out.
Oh, damn it! I think Twitter should build something in their coding that the name Max Verstappen should not be uttered. As soon as whatever, it just deletes your tweet or something like that.
People are. Did you see the new sprint races? Like they picked up for them.
Oh,
They picked the next year's 6 sprint races.
where are they?
They did Austria, Spa, Kota, Brazil, uh, Qatar, and there's one more. But I think Spa would be like completely
Spa
useless.
is a waste of time. You can't have Spa as a sprint race. How many laps
But
is that
but
going to
but
be?
my idea for a sprint is that you go to Bahrain, right?
Go where?
You do the qualifying on the normal track, and then you do the sprint on the oval track, and then you go back to the main race on a normal track.
For which one?
Like the sprint on an oval track would be absolutely fire because you'd have like 30 laps and like 90 stabs at DRS.
What for
That would be
Bahrain?
just crazy. Yeah,
So what you say? So for Bahrain, you have the what? The qualifying and the auto.
you got Friday. You pick up Friday as a normal FP1 session for setup,
Mm,
qualify on the normal track,
mm,
and then on Saturday FP2 you give them 1 hour on the oval track, and then the sprint goes on the oval track.
mm,
You just give them like endless DRS and endless opportunities to tail each other,
mm-hmm,
and then you give them like I think that's a short track, and that there were 90 something laps last year in 2020.
mm-hmm.
Um, so you'll get like 30 laps of pure DRS insanity,
Oh, okay.
and then there'll be 90 stabs at DRS because there are three straights. All three of them will have DRS.
Yeah, but so qualifying on the main track and the sprint race on the oval.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is the only way to do it right. I think
yeah,
you give them a shorter track and just give them endless opportunities to because Spa is pretty useless because the Spa will be what 12 laps.
yeah,
It's seven. It's no. It'll be 14 laps, I think,
yeah.
because it's 7 point something kilometers a lap and 100 kilometers. That'll be like 13 laps. You'll just get 10 or 13 stabs at a DRS, and then it'll not work for anyone
Yeah,
because
Spa
Spa will be useless.
Spa is no good race for sprint race. I don't even think Austria is a good track for the sprint race either.
Yeah, Austria is fine. I
Is
think.
it?
Yeah. No, Austria is fine. I think. I think for a sprint race, I think if the cars work, the Austria is fine for a sprint race.
So it's Spa, Austria, Kota,
Yeah.
Brazil, Bahrain.
Yeah. Just let
It's
me pull
Bahrain.
that up. I think
You say Bahrain is part of it.
no, but Bahrain is not. But I think it should be, but it isn't.
I think Jeddah be
They
a good
should.
track for a
Yeah,
sprint race.
it's Baku,
Nah,
Austria. But it's Baku, Austria, Spa, Brazil, Kota, and Lusail.
nah. I think I don't think Baku is a good track for the sprint race. I'd probably say Jeddah is a better track for the sprint race.
But yeah, Jeddah is good.
Jeddah definitely be a better track. I mean, we've not had really had a boring race at Jeddah, have we?
No, but the interesting point would be that if you pick the sprint race at the very first event, like race one, that's a sprint race, because nobody will have enough time to understand the cars or not just go on directly into a sprint
Hmm.
race. If you want to make it fun, then you have to put them into uncomfortable situations.
Okay.
Like immediately a sprint race. The first race itself is a sprint
Yeah,
race.
don't give them time to bed in.
Yeah.
I get you. I get you. That makes sense. But I'd remove. I'd probably even remove Lost Sale from it as well because I don't think that's really that. That's the one in Qatar. That's the Qatar one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
don't really think that's true.
But I think Qatar would also be a fine race for a sprint race. Like given the track's fine, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. The race day in 2020 wasn't really all that exciting, was it? So
Mm,
it wasn't all that.
no, it wasn't. But I think that was just because uh, of the because I think the race in the midfield was fine. Uh, because they were able to race each other. I think that wasn't a problem. But overall, I think that Qatar was a good race to good track to watch. I think a cars on, and I think to like this generation's car would have been fine because it's got long corners that doesn't disturb the car behind.
Hmm.
So it's got a lot of a motorcycle vibe because if you take these cars back to Mugello, they'll be fine
Yeah, there would be.
because they are the older cars used to be disturbed by the airflow, and I think that was I think these cars still are, but they're to a lesser degree. But then you get a lot of motorcycle lines between those. Like if you take these cars to tracks which are usually known for MotoGP racing, these cars will be fine.
Yeah, but is it? But the issue with the cars isn't so much about it being able to follow or anything like that. It's the fact that the cars are just too big. They're just too big. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
The cars are.
No, and they're heavy. I
Yeah,
think that they're reaching like a ton, and that they're very
I
heavy.
mean they're heavy, they're big, and the cars have outgrown the tracks. I think that's the problem. So if you want, so
Uh,
some of these,
are we going back to the topic about Monaco?
yeah, oh god, I don't like Monaco. I don't care which car you drive on Monaco. That place is shit. It's not. There's nothing exciting about Monaco that you can, apart from once you get past qualifying, that's it. Imagine if they'd said, "Oh, sprint race in Monaco." Jesus,
Now, sprint races in Monaco without the pit stop is just the lead car driving at like 40
that would.
kilometers an hour.
Who did that? I mean, that would be Ricciardo in what year was it? 2018,
Seven. I think he won 17. I think
17 when he drove it. When he didn't, he drove basically on the ice alone.
no, he won 18. Sorry, 17 was won by Seb. I think he won 18.
Yeah, 17 was won by Seb. Yeah, where they basically punked Kimi and let Seb won that race. Yeah, Ricciardo won in 18, driving around at like, I don't even know. That it just shows you how bad that track is. That someone can be driving with, what was it, 160 bhp down, and you still can't get past them.
Yeah, but I think like next year Lewis did the same. I think with like in 2019, like even without the handicap of the engine, I think with those tires handicapped, they were practically bald, and he was sliding off in every corner. But he could just hold that track, and that's just the track
What,
itself that you cannot
2019?
pass the other.
His
Yeah,
tires wasn't bald. The problem with the 2019 was the tires just weren't gripping up.
no, his tires had no grip
Yeah,
at that point. Like how he didn't end up in the wall is a miracle.
yeah. Oh well. Hey, did you see that thing? Did you see that article with Ben Sulik? What's his name?
Or dude, that dude is an asshole, man.
Yeah, like, oh, talking about at least now there's chance. No, your report into what happened last year was absolutely trash. You didn't really do anything, and the fact that you put let my guy sign an NDA, just like that's not transparency. You're literally covering something up because there shouldn't be no NDA if you want to be open and honest with people with what happened. Let him come out and speak. Why was he not interviewed during the whole entire process? I mean, he broke the rules. Surely you want to have, his point, his take on it and why he broke the rules. You can't just. It's like Oh God, how is charging someone for murder, but don't
No, but I
actually,
think they
huh?
wanted they wanted to cover up, and obviously, any sane person can see that. Given how it was played out, they wanted to cover up. They wanted to keep the fraud title up. They wanted to keep the sham going on, and it's just so shameless of them, and even of the team that actually wants to celebrate that. It's just collectively as a group they had so many occasions to actually correct what was wrong,
Yeah, but
but they didn't choose to. They had so many ways, so many moments to actually go back and correct what manipulation that they actually passed with.
mm,
But yeah, it's just peak shamelessness, as they say, that now is something that they would treat
yeah,
differently. Because I think nobody thinks that you know this is not something that we didn't expect. Obviously, they were going to do this because they actually enjoyed it,
and I mean,
and they were the ones.
it tells you that much if people already foresaw what the outcome was going to be. That it speaks to their credibility. It speaks to them as an organization that no one really trusts you that you'll actually do what's right. It's and then follow that up. You saw that article from Noble, that tweet from Jonathan Noble. Apparently, if if somebody wants the FIA to investigate what happened in Monaco with the supposed Perez crashing on purpose in Monaco, a team would have to request it. Like, why does a team need to request you to go ahead and do what you think what should be the right thing to do? Because if there's talk, if it's common knowledge around the paddock that he did crash on purpose, it's your job to find out for you know if it's true or not.
No, I think, and actually, any rumors of such should have triggered an investigation. But given that they're driving the Red Bulls, I think the FI are pretty weak in terms of they don't like to go after the Red Bulls.
But
They just have extreme bias towards
but
the Red Bull.
you're talking about, but then your whole idea of transparency, and a new way of new governance and so on, then is out the window because you're talking about this. You're talking about pretty much match fixing because he then went on to win the race. Granted, Ferrari handed him the opportunity to win the race, but either way, he won the
I
race.
still don't understand how do you bottle a 1-2 at
And
Monaco.
what did they get? A 2-4, 3-4 they got, or 2-4?
Man.
Oh, whichever
I think they got a 2-4.
sign. Because what's it?
Science got two. Yeah.
And Charles finished P4. But it's kind of odd. It's I just find it odd that they're coming out saying, "Well, we can't investigate it unless someone actually requests a formal investigation." You're the goddamn FIA. You shouldn't need someone's
Yeah.
permission to go ahead and investigate something that basically, you know,
Man, they actually are looking for, you know, um, the way that they don't want it is that they are just finding excuses that since nobody asked that, therefore we're not going to do that. But if it was any other team, they would have done it like uh,
yeah.
actively. I think it's just that because it's the Red Bull, they don't do it.
I mean, nothing has really changed. I mean, you changed the head of the snake. It's still the same goddamn snake. That's all you've done with putting this guy in place. It's still the same snake. Nothing's changed. But you know, it is what it is. All right, practice. So you think practice went today? Because I watched it, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it went fine, but I don't know if that's enough for the race and the quali. I think obviously it's promising in terms of what the start was, but I'm not 100% sure if there this would be the result that we want it to be
yeah,
because
yeah. I don't see. I don't unless they find a miracle cure overnight. I don't see them actually.
on a Red Bull has so much pace.
Well, one
So I
Red Bull
think
has so much pace. Just one.
yeah, but I think like in terms of what they were doing, I don't think the data correlates. Because the Mercedes actually were trying on parts for the
In
23 season.
that was in
Like Lewis
FP1,
said that.
but that was in FP1. In FP2 is a different thing.
Yeah, but in FP2 they were trying off with reducing the downforce on all levels to actually counteract the drag,
Hmm.
because they reduced the wing level, but there's still not enough speed down the straights, because I think they're losing somewhat of like 6 to 8 kilometers an hour
That's a lot.
on the
I
straights.
saw I saw someone tweet that they're losing like on that the two straights they're losing like 2/10.
Not 2 or 2.5 tenths.
Is
Yeah.
it per straight or both combined?
In the whole sector, I think they lose around 2.5 to 3 something tenths, but they gain back a lot of time in the last sector. And I think Lewis's first sector was the fastest
Yeah,
today, even with the lower downforce. But I think the first sector actually is about, uh,
it's high
the
speed
car
corners.
stability.
That's more high
Yeah, yeah,
speed.
yeah.
It's not you know. But I think it's a trade off. It's always been a trade off with this track. You very rarely find someone purpling all three sectors because the tires take such a beating by the time you get to the sector three with all those corners. If you start overheating the tires, you have no grip whatsoever. So it's a trade off. Where you gonna use it?
Yeah.
The first sector, or you're gonna save it for the last sector? But
I mean, to be honest, it's not as horrible as I thought it would be.
yeah,
I think it's still the times were reasonable, but I don't think that's enough. Probably it would be enough with some tired egg or some creative strategy or something different in the race. But outright in qualifying, I don't think there's a pole on the line.
yeah, I think it's good.
Like it would.
They might be
Like I'd
able to
love to be
match
wrong,
them.
but I don't think there is one.
Race pace, they might be able to match them. But as we've come to see from this track, overtaking is not the easiest thing in the world at this track. Not at all. It's not really that great of track for racing, and I don't think even the change they made into that chicane that they removed to go into the run into the second.
No, but I think like let's see how it plays out this year, because it might be different. Like we've not seen these cars on here.
Mm, true, you're right, but I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm not
yeah,
hopeful.
but
I'm not very hopeful anyway. It's probably just going to be another boring processional race. It's going to be.
nah, but
I think the interest is going to be to see what the fight between Checo and Charles because it's funny now because
or did you not see the race run numbers? I think like they're like 6 tenths off the Red Bull, the lead Red Bull. I think Checo is 2.5 tenths of of Max, 2.5 3 tenths in the long run.
mhm.
But the Ferraris are like 6 or 7 tenths off them. So yeah,
Oh,
there's no hope for Charles until unless Perez fucks up,
oh God, look who's in that.
which is not.
Look who just entered the room. Oh God, here it is. Here it is this time.
I didn't see. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the number one Ferrari fan. Anik,
Dude.
Anik, what's up, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Anik,
What's up, Thanos? What's
you
up? What's
good?
up?
You good?
I'm good, man. How are you keeping?
Me, I'm always good, man.
Sad to see the back of this season, man. It's been a breakthrough season for the Scuderia.
It's been a what?
Anik,
Sorry.
when was Ferrari's
What
last
did you
win?
just say? What did you just say it was?
It's been a breakthrough season for the Scuderia. We got back to winning ways with an S at the end because we've collected more than one win.
Anik, when was Ferrari's last win?
It was a long time ago. It was
The
it
last
was a
one
long
was
time ago.
Silverstone. It was Silverstone, right?
No,
Oh, we're
Austria.
not ready.
Austria.
Oh, so
I didn't even remember.
your car didn't win for like months now.
And you know
That's
what?
gonna be hard.
We're still second in the
That's gonna be
championship.
really hard, dude.
You know what it is, V? We're still second in the championship now. What does that say about the rest of? What does that say about Mercedes? We're still second.
That says that they're not playing second. Like, do you want to talk about championships
But
now? When was your last
I mean,
championship?
Anik, you're really shameless. You know, I must give you. I have to give you credit because you stick by Ferrari through thick and thin. Even though they through everything, the ups. Well, I wouldn't even say ups because it's always down with Ferrari. You're down there with them to the end.
Hey, is any spots on Mercedes next year?
Sorry,
Thanos.
Your question.
Is any
Your
spaces
questions
for
about
next year, Mercedes? You're gonna welcome me on?
no. Your questions about your endless questions about when was the last win. I think you'll have to answer them all your.
I have to answer that question.
Summer break.
Yeah. No, but Thanos. Any spaces on Team AMG for next year?
no,
No.
no, we're good.
I'm sure you need me. So you need someone like me in your fan base. Come on,
To
Thanos.
do
You
what?
need me.
To do what?
Bring you luck. You know, I
If
brought
he
Ferrari
so
Bro,
luck
come
hold
this
on.
year.
on.
So what luck have you brought
I'm a lucky
Ferrari?
chum. Huh?
What luck have you brought Ferrari?
Look, I knew Ferrari were going to do something this
Do
year.
what? What did they
We've
do?
won races. We've won races. We took the
Okay.
title. We took the
Pastor
challenge to Red
Maldonado.
Bull.
Pastor Maldonado has won. Maldonado won a race in Formula One.
Yeah,
Don't
and
mean
that's
shit.
exactly no. Hold on, a race.
Yeah.
You've won one race this year, and you know
Okay.
what is Thanos? We had Red Bull shaking in their boots when they saw what we were doing. No, listen. You know what they had to do? They had to end up cheating.
Oh, come
They
on,
listen.
man.
Listen, Thanos. They
Oh,
built
come on,
they built
man.
an illegal car. They went beyond the cost cap. You had
I don't.
Perez
I.
deliberately
I
crashing.
don't believe.
Look at what we've done.
Look, I don't. You and I both know what you just said. You don't take that seriously, but I'll let you just carry on because you're funny, dude.
No,
This is
I actually
entertaining.
rate the shamelessness because at some point, like, you have to rate the shamelessness because, come on, man. That's
No,
like
But
extreme
it's
shameless.
entertaining.
Like, the guts to be that shameless, man. Come
You
on, man.
look, Varun. You can't shame the shameless. You can't shame the shameless.
Oh, come on, man.
Anik
He
is
said
just
that
doing
with
this.
a straight face,
Anik is
man.
just.
He said that with a
I don't
straight
know if you
face.
know. Noise. Anik is just saying this and doing this for entertainment. He doesn't believe none of the shit he's saying.
nah. You know what? I'll tell you one thing, though, Thanos. Last week, I couldn't defend that. Leclerc's pit stop. I couldn't defend that at all.
What pit stop?
In qualifying, the qualifying.
What did you do about the pit stop? Like,
Oh,
I don't know
the
what they
race
were
went.
doing. Like,
what do you mean you don't know
it
what they
just
do?
made
What do you mean you don't know what they were
No,
doing?
you
in
mean the
qualifying.
tire strategy for the
Yeah, in
qualifying then?
qualifying, I lost it. I couldn't believe it. What I was
Annie,
seeing.
how could you not believe what they're doing? What's the name of the team? What's the name of the team?
It's the most successful
What's the
team in
name?
F1, Thanos.
I didn't ask you about the record. I asked
It's
you what's
Ferrari.
okay then. And I mean, doesn't that tell you enough? You know what more you
It
need
does.
than that? You
Well, you know what?
what?
We
Bro,
kept, even in the race.
that's the team Seb went bald in, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
you know
Seb
that's true
finally
as well.
grew his hair back now. No, he's gone all
Trust me, it's
hippie.
making me go bold as well. Supporting Ferrari.
Boy.
You know, you know what? We were stopping every 5 minutes last week. I was like, oh my, what are we doing here? But I don't know.
But
I think the safety car was lucky.
You remember that there's this famous TikTok of that Italian man who speaks about those Ferrari pit stops. They go in one time, they change it.
It's a joke.
It was after the Hungarian Grand Prix. There was this small TikTok that came up where this Italian man was ranting that the Ferrari pit stop was really crap, and their strategy was like completely
It
changing
was
tires over and over.
Hungary was again
the best
inexcusable.
way
But
to describe Ferrari is to use that Gennaro Gattuso thing.
sometimes good,
Sometimes they're
sometimes
good,
the shit.
sometimes they shit. That's
Exactly.
Ferrari, but they're more shit more than often than they're actually good. Let's be honest. I mean,
It's true.
In truth,
I have to
come
admit
on,
that.
Annie.
I have
In
to admit
truth,
that.
the
Yeah,
way
it
they
is.
started the season, I genuinely thought, okay, Ferrari look like
Mm-hmm.
they're actually going to be serious this year. But then I remembered it's Ferrari, and I was like, yeah,
Ferrari remembers
No,
Ferrari.
but I was actually hoping for Ferrari that they would take that number one off the off the Red Bull and that their car that they so. But this year you can't say that, like, that's this year
I
the
don't think anybody can win a championship with Ferrari.
Yeah, we put that question out on the pit stop account.
Yeah, I don't.
Who, if there's one driver on the grid, who to bring it? Who's gonna get the title?
not somebody. If there has to be some driver, I don't think it's just the driver. I think Charles is a fine driver.
The driver is not the problem. The team is the
Yeah, I
problem.
don't
think
think
it's the
that's the
team.
problem. I think there's a team problem in terms of, like, if driver and team management as it is, like, the way Schumacher brought Schumacher and Todd, every one of them worked together and nobody questioned those three. Like
Mm-hmm.
if there were question of any one of them, all three of them defended that one guy together. That is the kind of thing that they need in Ferrari.
Yeah.
That they want that kind of thing where anything goes anyway, which is not ideal. All three of them defend together and actually say that this is the problem, we're going to fix it, and that's how we're going to work.
No one's going to win. I don't see.
But ever since they said that Lewis can't bring his people over in terms of the people that he trusts, and that's how the 2018 deal went bad. I think if they would have asked that and agreed to swap over.
Which people would he have brought over?
As Lewis was talking about his engineers, his performance engineers, and as well as his personal trainers and personal engineers.
But he doesn't have a personal trainer.
Like he was
You never had a.
Not the personal trainer, his personal race engineers and
Okay.
all of those,
So
the
like, so
performance
like
engineers.
Bono and all of those guys, he want to bring with
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think if he brought them.
But Ferrari has that Italian heritage, right? Like they would say that we only because apart from the drivers and the team managers, they don't have that kind of diversity in terms of
I don't,
hiring people.
I don't care. I don't care who. Even if Lewis had brought his team over with him, I don't think that he would have won a championship with Ferrari.
You think Lewis wouldn't have
No,
won the championship
because
with 2018 Ferrari?
no, diff,
The
no, no,
2018
no,
Ferrari was a fine
no.
car, dude.
Yeah, the car was fine, but again, it's still the team. It's still the same
Yeah,
team.
but if you bring people over and you have that kind of culture that you do not like, if they bring people over and if they have the kind of culture that they're not going to blame people and fire everyone every time. Like for example, the Germany 2019 was a shit show for Mercedes, right? If something like that happens for Ferrari, they would go crying and fire a
Yeah,
bunch of
but
people.
Varun, I still don't think even if Lewis brings over his side of the garage to Ferrari, the whole entire culture of Ferrari isn't conducive to winning. It's not conducive to success. So I don't think it would have made any difference. It's a team. That's my problem.
But I think
It's not the
if you
driver.
change the people, you change the
No,
culture, right? I think that's
but
the
you have to change the people right throughout, not just at one side of the garage. You have to change the whole entire culture of the team. And it's something I've always said. Ferrari's too Italian. That's their biggest
no.
problem. They're
But I
too
think
Italian.
when they brought like John Todd and Ross Brawn, I think once they had a couple of people who didn't take blame culture for an answer, then they started working,
No,
right?
but
Because if you
John Todd, Braun, Schumacher,
and
and
Schumacher.
Rory Byrne, they're basically kind of like these guys came in at the top. These are top heavy guys. But you're talking about Lewis would come over with like his perform. They don't affect any change. They're just going to be working with
Yeah,
him.
but I think with Lewis coming in, if Lewis was there, and if they agree on a culture where where all of these people would not be fearing for their lives every time something happens, then I think that would work fine for all of them.
I don't know. I don't know. I just I just don't trust Ferrari as a team and that whole the culture. As I say, it's too Italian. They need some diversity, and I don't mean in terms of like
Yeah, I'm not
they need.
complaining Lewis is in a
Yeah,
Mercedes, man. Come on.
and also, you know, one of the I don't think Lewis ever seriously entertained going to Ferrari.
No, there was a time I think like
No,
when they were talking about the
I remember he when Marchione was still alive. Marchione tried to get him
yeah,
many
yeah,
a times,
like because I think
and he turned them down.
before Marchioni, the what's the other guy, the
Oh,
um
Mattiaci? No, it doesn't matter.
no the uh, I'm forgetting his
Arriva
name.
Bene? No.
No, he's the head before Marchioni, who was the head of Ferrari.
Oh, I don't know. Don't know.
There was this guy, right? I think he used to attend races and so that person who said that Lewis would have won in the 2017
Oh,
Ferrari as well.
Montezemolo. Luca Montezemolo. But
Yeah, he wanted Lewis in the first
but
place. Like he was like,
he had already left Ferrari by
yeah,
2018.
but the time when he was seeing like Ferrari failed 2015 or 17, he wanted Lewis at that time.
Yeah, but Lewis was never going to walk away from a car like what Mercedes gave him to go to Ferrari to do what?
Like, come on, let's be honest. 2017 Ferrari was the fastest starter in the first
Yeah, and
couple
then
of
what
races.
happened?
Yeah, but
Then
then I
Ferrari
think
exactly. So you see the problem. So you see the problem we're having here. They start with a quick car, but they can't maintain. They
they
can't.
had the best. They had the best car, the most limbo package, the fastest engine at that time, and the lightest car.
Yeah, and they still contrive to throw away a championship. So nah, not for me. I'm glad, and also Ferrari wouldn't have allowed him to be, you know, be who he is. Look, Mercedes was the perfect fit for Lewis because it allowed
You
him
know
to
that,
be
right? Like
himself.
Charles didn't get to start his clothes lineup because of Ferrari contracts.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Even Lando Norris couldn't actually start his merch deal because of McLaren contracts.
See? No, I don't think Ferrari would have been the right place for Lewis, and I don't. it's all well and good saying, "Oh, I drove for Ferrari," but if you haven't won anything for them, that's just empty. That's just empty prestige in my book. So, and I don't see anybody. They have the driver, but they just don't have the car. They don't have the team. It's a dysfunctional unit. Absolutely dysfunctional. I mean, look at in we heard Charles's radio message in qualifying, where
Oh,
the
he's
pit
based.
the pit wall says new slicks. They came on, they put used slicks on his car, and he's like, and they were like sending him off, and he's like, "Yo, those are used tires." Like, how the fuck can you get something as simple as that wrong? It literally says new slicks.
No, but I think also not just that. I think Binotto is not going to survive this.
No, he's not. I think he's well.
I mean, even the fact that Pinocchio doesn't speak to Leclerc is just a wild
What do you
thing
mean
to just
he does? What do you
consider.
mean he doesn't speak to him?
So there's a rumor that
It
since
came out.
Silverstone
It
they
came out,
haven't.
I think, yesterday on the news. Like they don't speak.
Oh shit!
So they said that
Since
since last
Silverstone.
Silverstone they have not spoken to
Yeah,
each other.
yeah, they don't speak at all.
Well, that's not.
Just wild to me. How could you not speak to your employee as the team boss?
So you see the prop. So you see the. So remember what I said to you, Varun. Two things. One of two things is going to happen with Ferrari and Charles. Someone's going to get fed up. It's a matter of who's going
Nah,
to get
he's
fed
leaving.
up first. Huh?
He's leaving.
Who?
He's gonna leave.
Who?
Leclerc, give it 2 years, he's gonna leave
His
that team.
contract runs to 2025.
No, but
I
I
mean,
don't.
lawyers might get involved. Is what I'm basically
Yeah, but
trying
where's
to.
he going to go?
I think Leclerc wants that Mercedes.
If McLaren sorts their shit out, I mean,
If
you
who?
know, McLaren could sort their shit out.
Nah.
Oh, come on.
Charles ain't going McLaren, dude. McLaren ain't winning shit. He might
If
as well
Lewis
go-
retired,
he
he might go
as
to
well-
Mercedes.
Yeah, but Lewis ain't.
Lewis might still stay.
Lewis is probably going to go until 2025 because he has a contract for next year, right?
No, I think he's going. He's going with the
Then-
new engine. I think he's going to see out the new engine.
So that's 2026. But he has a contract.
Yeah.
He has a contract for next year. So
He's a contract till next year. That's his
Yeah.
contract till this year. I think. No.
no, next year.
Oh yeah, 23 is the last year that he has a contract.
2023 is the end of it. So if he
that might be 2 years.
and he said he
Yeah, I
wants a
think
multi-
he'll do like I think excluding this year, I think he'll do 5 more years and then call it.
Nah, I don't think he's going to do that. long.
Nah, yeah.
Nah, I think I give him. I think he's going to do two at max and then call it quits.
No, I think he was really positive about the new engine in terms of what they have for 26. Given
but
that Audi's also.
The new engine for 26 is basically the same engine that they have this year. It's not.
No, but I
really-
think that they have
Much
more
worse.
region
Much
and
worse than what I
everything.
heard.
Sorry,
It's a much worse engine.
it's a work. Yeah, the
It
2026.
has much less power.
The 2026
No, but
engine is worse than this one.
it's a same engine, but I think it's a derivative of the same engine, but it has a lot higher energy recovery and a different
Yeah, but it's
way
still-
of producing energy.
I don't see why. I don't see why the teams should have given up the technology that they've actually spent how many millions.
They wanted Audi and Porsche to join.
Yeah, but
I don't even like these regulations, to be honest with you. I don't even like these regulations
But what
because I kind of feel like it's a skill issue, really, because certain drivers did prove that last year you could overtake with these cars.
But you see, you just raised a point that I raised last year that you find, and I think Peter Windsor mentioned it last year as well, that the beauty with the old type of cars was you saw who was the better drivers because it takes a level of skill to be able to follow someone that closely without destroying your tires. No, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
that issue. You can just pull up and drive, and that's it. You don't have to worry about my tires. None of that. So it's an easy. So it's taken away a
The
key
skill
that,
factor.
it's a skill factor, and it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't even like how these cars are so sluggish in corners. To be honest with you,
Because
like
they're too heavy.
they're slow in the straights, they're sluggish in corners.
They're
Because like the previous cars, man, you had to choose, like you had to pick your moments. You had to make sure that okay, I'm gonna follow this guy right in that corner, I have to make it stick, and you have to go all the way through, right? I like that factor about these cars. But then with the current cars now, it's like
They're
you
too
make so
heavy.
many mistakes. You just end up with the guy. You know what I mean? It's
The
less
car,
about the engineering factor
the
and
cars
more
are too
about
heavy. They're what's the weight limit? 798 kilos.
Yeah, and they're
raise that
gaining
limit. They raise the
a-
limit.
and they're gonna gain weight next year, given that the roll hoop regulations have been more stringent, so they'll gain more
And
weight
even
next year.
then, and even then, they punished Alfa Romeo because they were the ones who stuck to like they had the lowest weight
They
weight
made
limit.
the weight limit. They made the weight limit.
It was the lowest one by
No,
like
yeah,
10
that's what I'm saying.
kilograms.
They made the
And
weight
then they
limit.
got punished for that.
No,
Yeah,
the car.
I think Alpha, like, given that they were like, they could have like been if they didn't raise the minimum limit, Alpha in the early years could have, in the early races, could have been beating cars that we don't expect them to even race.
But
You
okay,
know.
Exactly,
hold on,
exactly. That's
get
why they got slower.
let me get something straight. The car should be weighed 798 kilos max or minimum. That's the
Uh,
minimum they can weigh.
yeah, it's a minimum weight, right?
Okay, so Alpha were basically at the 798
No,
limit.
before 798, I think it was
It was
793.
795. I think it was 795.
No, they raced like with 5 kilos. It was seven. So whatever it was, they made the weight limit, which means they were at the minimum limit, while the other cars were 800 or 805 or 807 kilograms. And given that, they would have had a massive advantage in terms of tire wear and other things.
They made the cars too heavy, and every year they keep going up. It's going up. It's going up.
Oh,
It's going up.
next year's gonna be
Like,
worse because
come
yeah.
on, man, Jesus, and I don't know. Varun,
Yeah.
take this. Let me answer
No,
my
next
door.
year is definitely gonna be worse, given that the Alpha. Again, it was the Alpha crash that brought out that a roll hoop regulation change, and then
Yeah.
they're just gonna get heavier and heavier. I don't even
But,
expect that the
but
once they
then
get
the
the new.
issue is my issue is like when do we stop raising this weight? You know what I mean? When do we actually go back and say let's cut certain things and just make the weight more back to 2016, for example. 2016, the cars were more raceable. You know what I mean? Without any added factors. I understand the safety part of the cars, that the weight also comes with the safety, but then there's certain elements that you could reduce to make the car more
Oh yeah,
raceable without.
2017 regulations were just to make them look pretty on. That was all the 2017 regulations. They were
But
just
then,
to
but then
make
the
them.
speed also came into that because the 2017 cars set crazy lap records,
Yeah,
crazy
because
speed.
they just gave them that we're gonna make cars so fast that you're not gonna believe how fast they are, and that's what the entire logic behind uh 2017 regulations were. Just make them look fast and go fast and like give them extra grip, bigger tires, bigger everything, and just make them go fast. Because I think the 2017 and
Mm.
2018 cars with those low rear wings, they had insane downforce. You see them around the track.
Yeah,
Nah, they're
yeah.
just insane
But then,
downforce.
but then my question to Formula One is, isn't that what Formula One is about? Being on the cutting edge, being the fastest cars, being the best handling cars. You know what I mean?
Nah, I
Like
think
I, I
they
just I, I
also
just
they
I
also
just wish we
want.
had stuck with these regulations for just maybe 3 more years, right? And then perhaps try to cut down on the dirty air factor of things, regardless of it being a skill factor. Just cut down on the dirty air, all that stuff.
No, but I
I
think
just
that
think we
the
could have
next
worked
year
around
itself,
it.
they are actually talking about not just killing the drag itself and all of those things. They're even talking about hindering the spray. So I think there are going to be aero pieces behind the rear wheel, which will not allow, and the rear diffuser, which will not allow spray to be kicked up high in the air. So
for
there'll be
for
some.
for, for weight races, right?
Yes, there will be some sort of covers for the rear wheel as well, like they are for the front wheels. There'll be something for the
Mm,
rear wheel as well, which will again add weight. I think all of these things
imagine.
together. together will add a lot of weight, and
Imagine, imagine,
those
imagine.
regulations that they talk about, they also have a higher regen capacity and a higher battery capacity. So I think the way it's going to be crazy for the next cars.
Oh,
They're walking
but
towards
then
like 800 plus kilograms at a time.
they will offset that with the higher battery capacity, right?
Yeah, but yeah, higher battery capacity will give them more power, but I think it'll be heavier, right?
Which also means that they will have to like cut down on the, because if you remember this year they said that September is the deadline for the engine freeze, right? So
Yeah,
that
that
will
that
mean
has
that
happened.
they'll have to push that back.
No, no, no. I think it's for 2026, not now.
Oh,
Once they go to
but then
2026.
yeah, but then what happens with the engine freeze? Because I'm seeing Ferrari also submitting an application to fix up their reliability for their cars because they supply
Yeah,
so
you
many
I'm back.
cars.
I'm
you
back.
can fix reliability as much as you want. That's not a problem.
Which is
I
which
think
But
is
then
which is which
sometimes
is
there's
it's
also a
technically
loophole
an
for
upgrade.
fixing
It's an upgrade.
reliability by creating more
no, but
performance
I think reliability
for
upgrades are different
ERS.
because reliability upgrades actually have to be passed by the rival teams. Because if there is a reliability upgrade in which they are actually gaining power or probably something that the other teams get a hint of, they can actually veto them out and not allow that reliability upgrade. Although it's not happened, they all play ball with each other and they let everything pass through. But a reliability upgrade has to be proved it does not increase power in any way, shape, or form. So they have to demonstrate that there's a problem first, and then the problem they're
Mm.
solving, and at the end of which they'll say this is our upgrade, our power figures with this, and it still remains the same.
Yeah, but very. But did you not see in Formula Uno they reported that Mercedes brought a software upgrade to Brazil after
Yeah,
bringing a reliability upgrade to the PU Spec 3 PU in Spa.
I
So
don't
there's
think the
so there's so there's ways you can get around proving that
Exactly,
that it doesn't gives any performance because again it's
exactly.
it's software control is it not?
I think even Mercedes would have a similar because their water pump and those cooling issues have been really frequent. I've been really tired of like hearing the cooling
Yeah,
issues
but
and
those are but
Because the
cooling
main
and
issue
what?
for Mercedes was the
Hold on,
ERS.
hold on. But cooling
now
and what?
ERS was never an issue. I don't think their energy recovery in that sense is an issue.
Very
It's just
No,
that
the
hold on.
ERS was lacking in comparison to Red Bull and Ferrari.
The water coolers and XYZ etc are ancillary items, aren't they not? They're not auxiliary items. They're not actually falls within the PU specification, does it? That
no,
needs
they're not.
upgraded.
No,
Okay.
the cooling parts don't.
Yeah.
But
So,
if the problem lies within the engine block, it's the internal combustion engine, or in terms of something within the power unit itself that is part of the frozen units, then it would be a problem.
oh well. So, but there's
Because I think
Which
they
one
can
is locked?
still
Is it the MGUK or the MGUH?
well,
sorry,
both of them are locked now. Everything's locked.
everything's locked. There's nothing you can
Wow.
do
You
until
can't do anything
2026.
to you can't do anything about anything. But I think engine mapping is something that's still allowed. Like you can still map your engines
Yeah,
differently.
but you have to provide. Hold on a second, because if I remember correctly, you have to provide them with these three engine maps prior to the start of the year. I think it was.
Yeah.
Because or is it the start of the year or is it the start of the race weekend? Because you're not allowed to change
So
engine
the
maps
engine
during the
maps
race.
actually have to for example you take Brazil last year for example, or the engine maps when you have a fresh power unit will obviously be different to an engine map for a car that has done like 6 races,
Why would it
right?
be
So
different?
so
Why would it?
so
But
an
why
engine
would it
map
be?
continuity only has to go through between comparable power units. So if there are two power units which have equal mileage on them, then the power unit for all the manufacturers should be using the same engine modes.
But why should be you have a different? Okay, I'm a bit confused because okay, so it's but the map. Why would the map be different if it's whether if it's old or new? It's the same specification unit.
Yeah,
You've not actually.
no, it's the same specification unit. But if you, so for example, let's say 100 kilometers damages your engine a 1%, right? And you are only and you say that by the end of the year you are expecting to drive 10,000 kilometers. That means 100% of your engine will be used. So,
Hmm.
but if you increase the power to, or probably increase, give it a more aggressive map to use, then the usage of the engine, wear and tear will go up to like 2% per 100 kilometers. In which case, you can only do 5,000 kilometers. So that's just using the life of the engine to against to have a little extra performance.
I don't
That's
think I
that because if anyone tunes their road cars, right? If you The manufacturers obviously built in a cover, a buffer zone where your road cars only are tuned to within 60% or 50% of their actual capacity to actually allow the reliability of that engine. But if you go ahead and if you map with different components, you can actually get more out of it. That's how the maps would work.
Okay, I don't think I understand any of that, but anyway, you understood it, so hopefully everybody else who is listening
Hey, the
understood.
engine's fine. The engine's working fine. Even in Brazil, it was fine. I think once they figured out in Mexico and they actually had those FP1 issues, I think they've already decided that this will be used in Brazil, where the air would be much thicker than Mexico.
But I mean, they told us at the start of the year that they were running the pole units in a less aggressive mode, simply because of the porpoising. Because if they ran it any harder, it would probably made the problem worse.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think all along when people are talking about the Mercedes power unit, I don't think they really had an issue with the power unit. It's just a matter of we can't use it the way we'd want it to. They can't use it the way they'd like to, simply because of having to deal with it porpoising. So you
Yeah,
know,
and you talk about like it's a drag factor. I think all the cars that have been built around the Mercedes unit had a high drag. As soon as Williams turned to a very low drag kind of aero setup, they're still the fastest car in the
but but
street
here
tracks.
here my question. Here's my question with this now. In the previous era, before this ground effects nonsense, Mercedes tended to have more downforce and more drag than everybody else, but didn't really suffer that much with straight line speed. Why is it different now?
No, I think their down their car there's something called efficiency. So their downforce was not dirty. That's
Okay.
the simple answer. That their downforce was clean, effective downforce. So while they were piling on downforce, it wasn't like adding a parachute to the car. So if you saw them going to Monza and you in the earlier years where they had an excellent power unit. So for example, 14, 15, 16, you see them going to Monza and their wings would still be loaded while the rest of the grid, such as Red Bulls and the other cars on the grid, they would have like T trays for rear wings. So at that
Hmm.
point of time, they had some margin within the power unit. So they were like that, we can still uh, use this and actually um, survive the overall racetrack. Because given if you read there are one of those interviews where they talk about that earlier in the year of 2014 they actually used to use lower wings so as to appear slower in the corners and faster on the straights, even
Hmm.
faster, because in 2014 they wanted all the emphasis to be on the engine and not on the chassis or aero upgrades or anything other than that. So even internally they talked about that the aero department would not get their flowers publicly because they are trying this, that what they're doing is actually to project an image that it's all because of the engine which others can't see.
So they're
So
trying to
nobody,
blow them off the scent.
yeah, because they because I think in 2014 their tire management was also excellent, but nobody caught a wind of it because everybody was about oh, they have an excellent engine. Because you remember Sochi when Jensen said that Rosberg will not make it to the end
Yeah, and he did.
after he pitted on the first lap. He was
Where
like
did he
confident
finish?
that
Did he finish P2?
yeah, Rosberg finished P2 after pitting after being last on the first lap.
Shit. Yeah, that was peak Mercedes era, man. That was peak. But anyway, where we gonna go next? Anybody wants to join in and pick a topic? Because if not, I'm gonna shut it down and we catch up again tomorrow. I'm gonna see to the kiddies.
Yeah,
'Cause I haven't
I
listened
think
to
we're gonna go tomorrow because
them.
let's see how the quali goes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I think quality tomorrow, they'll probably be fighting for probably three. I mean,
3-4.
yeah, but you never know. You could pull something off and
Oh,
get a
but
front row
Perez
spot.
fucks up then 2-3. I think, but I think
Perez is gonna mess up, dude. I ain't even worried about Perez. Perez ain't shit. But actually, that's what I was gonna say. This whole Brazil thing this is just gonna bite Perez in his ass because if imagine he's running P3 and Charles is running P2 and Max is leading.
yeah.
If they just allowed them to swap positions in Brazil, it would have been a whole different situation. So now he has
Oh,
to
I
guarantee
actually
to
want
get
Charles to get it.
to get second. He has to he has to finish in front of Charles. It's the only
Yeah,
way he's guaranteed of getting P2. But I don't want him to get P2 because then Red Bull would never have a 1-2 finish in a championship. I don't want him.
yeah.
I don't want that record to be. I want him to stay like that forever. And
No, but
petty.
I think that's what I want. I want Charles to get P2, and I think it is possible given that if Perez fucks up and if Ferrari gets some decent act together and they at least prioritize Charles for it. So I
Mm.
think he can still get P2 if all of those things work together. But I still think that it's joke like Perez should have sealed that like ages ago.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it's Ferrari, so it's more likely to probably screw up, and you see Charles finish P10. So you never know. You never know. Yo, Anthony, what's up? Quickly, because I'm about to go.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say about for P2 for the championship and who comes second. It's gonna be very interesting to see what's gonna happen during the race on Sunday. If Max is gonna help um Checo get P2.
Max can't help Checo. Checo is on his own.
Yeah.
There's nothing Max can do to help
No, but I
Checo
think the
this
Max
weekend.
could only have helped Checo when he was behind him, and usually
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, and
Perez is not like usually Max is miles up the road.
that's the
So
that's the thing. It's gonna be
There's nothing Max can do to help Perez
mm,
this weekend. Perez is on his own because Max is going to out qualify him.
yeah.
Max is going to drive away from him. So Perez is
yeah, I'd be
he's going to
shocked
have
if
to do that
Max
himself.
doesn't out qualify Perez.
No,
Yeah,
he will do. It's just it's gonna implode like we saw it last
it's
road.
not going to implode. It's not going to implode. Perez knows his place. He knew he talked out he talked out a turn
Yeah,
last weekend,
I
and he
don't
had
think
went and
I don't think
apologized
it's
to the
gonna
team for that.
implode because I think Perez already backed out of his the things that he said after the race on in Brazil. So
Yeah,
he already took all of them, most of it back, and he's no longer.
he pretty much apologized and say, yeah, I didn't mean to say, it was my fault and all of that, yada 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 yada. Just like, yeah, dude, you have no goddamn backbone.
But
Your wife should your wife should divorce you for that.
what you
You
saw
have no
what happened
backbone.
on Twitter day after, in it, when a certain individual exposed Checo's secret, even though we all knew what happened in Monaco.
Max's mom.
Yep, exposed
Oh,
about Checo. Just like wow, it's just like
she need to go and see a new plastic surgeon because whoever did her face fucked that shit up. Sorry, whoever her plastic surgeon is, they should be locked up because they did a piss poor job on her face. Sorry, but anyway,
that,
that's none of my business.
that's just that's a whole new low. Like the mother to get involved and post about Checo is just like
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the family,
No,
that's
but imagine how much Max has Red Bull by the balls that Red Bull apologized, and then Perez apologized, and everyone said sorry because he fucked up. That's just insane.
Well,
Dude, he fucked up, and everybody else apologized.
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I was saying with this you, like, and then weapon. Ricardo now has gone back to the team. I was just like, you
No,
Yeah,
he's
mother.
not.
Ricky.
I don't. I think Marco backed out. He said it's lost in translation. Nothing is done yet.
Nothing. But it,
It's going back to Red Bull as a third driver, and I mean
No, that's
that's
not. It's
embarrassing.
not a third driver. He's not the reserve driver. If something happens to Perez or Max, Daniel will not be called up to race. It will be Liam Lawson.
Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
mean that's
what,
embarrassing. If he goes back to
No, he's
if he
not
goes
the
back,
third. He's just the show driver. He's like
look,
technically the fourth driver at that point.
well,
that's what, if he goes back to Red Bull, his family should disown him because that's embarrassing.
No,
Don't
he's
go
not.
back.
That's the point. Like people saying that he's a reserve driver. He's not.
well,
He's
that's what
Varun, whether he's
they
reserve driver or the chauffeur or whatever it is. Don't go back to Red Bull.
and you know what,
Bro,
Don't go back to. He would have been better off than taking the half seat.
and you know what kills it as well. Even Liam, when I was watching FP1 today, Liam Lawson was like on the radio. Um, can I push any faster? I'm not used to driving like this, and I'm
I mean,
yeah, I think
he wasn't that far off Perez's
yeah, I know.
pace anyway.
Well, yeah, some good drivers coming through like Djokovic.
No, there isn't.
Yeah,
Not
man,
really.
Djokovic,
Not really.
F2 champion. So,
dude, you if you've seen the F2 season this year, you know why he's F2 champion. He is a champion. I think there is a championship to his name, but there are some F2 championships which are embedded by Mechachrome and not by the drivers themselves.
yeah, but
Come
still,
on, man. That's just like let's be honest. F2 this year was embarrassing. It
yeah, it
was
was.
it was a joke, and like the driver talent and the uh, overall the people who were no man. It was so embarrassing how they conducted F2 this year.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
just like,
But Ricciardo going back to Red Bull in any capacity whatsoever is an embarrassment.
The only
Him.
thing
It's
below
him
this is
going back
now
with his
being
tail between
the
his
only
legs.
thing below this is now is like being Horner's chauffeur at this point, like because there's nothing below this
Yeah,
because
he
he's
should have.
not even the
It's.
he's not even the third driver. He's the fourth driver. How does that work, man?
I just don't. I just don't get it. I mean, even if what is he looking to if because at the end of this is still all rumors we're going off presently, but is he looking to think maybe he can get Perez's seat when Red Bull decides enough for you, we're just going to throw you away now.
No, when Max decides Perez has had enough and his mom is right, then Daniel's gonna go back.
True, but I don't know. If I was him, I wouldn't have gone back to Red Bull
No, but
because he left under acrimonious
it is
situations.
better
Why
for
go
him
back?
to actually snub Sargent and actually get the Williams seat. Just you see how Albon has been stat padding that Williams that he has, uh, been out qualifying or holding up people with the, with the car with the lower drag, and he holds up everyone in the DRS train behind him. Just get the Williams seat and do the entire year. That will make your news headlines for the entire year.
Not only that. I mean, if he was offered, if the rumors are true that he was offered the half seat, you refuse the half seat to go back to Red Bull and just sit around doing nothing.
yeah, but let's be honest. Our Haas release, I
Which
didn't really
would you? Yeah, but whether Haas is whatever Haas is, but wouldn't you rather be driving than sitting down being Red Bulls? Oh,
No,
we
but
have a demo. We have a
nobody
demo
even knows
running.
what Haas is because Haas is fine. Like, Kevin Magnussen has a pole, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
How much of even no matter how much of a fraud it is, if you're on the track, you can win something.
No, I get that.
And
I
Haas
do
is
get that.
fighting who are they battling for position? Is it what's the friggin' name?
They're
Is
not
it
battling
Alpha?
anyone right now. I think they are P7, P6. I'm not sure. I think it's Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, then Alpine and McLaren. And then I think Aston and Haas are fighting for P6, 7. There's Alfa Romeo, and then there's Alpha Tauri, and then Williams, because Alpha Tauri has been proper crap this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to Red Bull just doesn't make any sense to me. I just think it's like, dude, you left there because you didn't like the environment, you didn't like what was going on, you didn't think you wanted to stay around and to fight, defend your spot. You gave up, you moved on. Why go back now?
Bro,
When the team is full, when the team's fully basically just it's Max's team, it's fully ingrained. He's basically it's his to the point where he's basically telling his team, look, don't tell me to ever let nobody. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
What's he going there to do?
he should have
And
gone. He should have gone to America. Try,
or
go
go back, go Australia, go and race V8s for a season or two.
Try rediscover your form, man.
What's up? Why these are laughing like that?
I'm laughing because of what you're saying. But anyway, my opinion of Daniel is he made a very major mistake when he left Renault. He should have stayed there. Going to McLaren was where his downfall started. So going to Red Bull is not even going to help his life. That is even worse. He should have, as you're saying, you should have gone back to Australia.
If he stayed at Renault and it became Alpine, he would have had some decent pace, because I think the Alpine is a car that explodes, but at least it works.
Exactly.
In some
That's
cases,
the thing.
on some racetrack it works and it becomes a half decent car, and you can race with it. But
Yeah. So Daniel, going back to Red Bull, first of all, as a brand, how do you even want to be associated with that? That is an embarrassment to your life.
Well, I mean, he's 100 million pounds richer, so
Oh
I guess
my
the money could. I guess the money can cushion the fall for him. I guess if you look at it that way.
Well,
but I don't know. I just, and the thing is, he's, when you look at it, where's
Thanos, we lost you. Thanos, you there? I think he got a call.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's there.
Sorry?
But anyway, I don't think.
Sorry, I've got a phone call. Sorry. What were you saying?
You were at Daniel and Alpine.
Yeah, I mean,
you were there.
You should have just did. I don't know. It's such a fall from grace. Personally, I think it's embarrassing. It's absolutely.
It is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing that he went from, he left a winning team. I mean, it didn't make sense when he went, oh, I'm going to go to Renault from Red Bull. Like, what makes you think? I mean, looking at Renault in their various guises, from Renault to Lotus to whatever the hell they want to name themselves, whenever they feel like. There was nothing there that showed you that, okay, this is a serious team that can actually win anything. I mean, the last good season Renault had was 2013, when they were known as Lotus.
Yeah.
They were,
that was it.
Yeah, but that's when I think that was their last Allison car.
There what?
Yeah, the James Allison was the designer at Lotus.
No,
right?
James. Okay, people stop calling James Allison a designer. He has never designed an F1 car.
No, but I think the technical head.
Yeah, I think he was some tech boss, something like that.
Yeah, but I think that they were working at that time, and they were incredibly kind on their tires when they were working.
Because it made Grosjean look good. Grosjean had some.
No, because the fact was that in 2012 and 2013 era, when the tires were actually exploding all the time, you would see that the cars that are making 3 stops while Renaults are making 1 stop and 2 stops work, they would basically just gain free 25 seconds and win the race or something like that. They're just not change tires for an entire.
Because didn't Kimi win the Australia 2013?
Yeah,
and he
won outright out of the box.
And he won. He also won in, which other race did he win that 2013?
I think he won 12 Abu Dhabi. I think definitely.
Yeah, he won. Yeah, he won a race in Abu Dhabi. Which one was it? 2012, where he said, "Leave me, I know what I'm doing."
Yeah, that's Abu Dhabi.
Okay. I mean,
that's been 10
I don't
years
see
ago.
how Ricciardo could have looked at leaving Red Bull and think, yeah, I'm going to go to Renault, because that seems the more,
No, because I think Lewis made it look easy when he did it with Mercedes. When I think he was constantly saying that Lewis did it with Mercedes, and I think there's an option for me to do it again. I really want to.
But
if you listen to the streets, Lewis didn't do anything. All the work was done by Michael Schumacher. So, boo.
Hey, come on, but I think nobody can question this year. Once they gained all the time back, it is completely lose his development, and along with the team, I think he did a lot of stuff. And even this morning when they were with in FP1, they were trying 23 parts on Lewis's car and not on George's. You
Exactly.
know that, right?
Yeah.
Like Lewis actually took that up and said, like, I want to do that and want to still test the car. He gave up his time in terms of setup window and all of those things
You see, this is
for the race.
walk on for Lewis doing that, man. Sure.
What do you mean?
What did they call this car anyway?
What?
Just out of curiosity.
What?
No, Varun said that they was trying out 23 parts on Lewis's car. So what were they exactly?
No one
Yeah,
knows.
there were setup items and just ride height items because the next year's car want to run higher, so there were sensors and setup items on the car.
No one knows
Okay.
what he was.
In a,
No one knows what he was testing anyway. So, and I mean,
yeah,
if
not in
Mercedes,
essence, but I
if they
think he
hadn't
said
said
that.
anything, no one would have known because I didn't know.
Yeah, but I think he said that next year's regulations demand that ride height. So I think there were experiments along with ride height because he came in twice to have those long runs. Because the data for the long runs remained the same in terms of tire deg. But I think they were trying items on the car.
Okay, cool.
As long as it works out next year, because
Ricciardo should have realized there's a saying, I don't know if you guys know it, puss and dog not have the same look. So I don't know why you thought because Lewis did it with Mercedes, he could replicate the same thing with Renault. They don't even have the Renault factory isn't even as big as the Mercedes factory.
Maybe I might say about Ricardo leaving Red Bull to Renault. Maybe he didn't like being a second driver, and he knew he didn't have a chance of winning races or winning championship as Max is there. So and Renault was going to give him the opportunity. Because
Renault give him the opportunity to do what?
Because I know Renault they tried to tune the car according to his driving style. So, but no, he was not going to win championships. Of course, he would have won about maybe 2-3 races. But leaving Renault going to McLaren, that was the biggest
No, but
mistake.
I think from that point of view, Thanos, I think when he was at Red Bull and he saw that there was one car exploding all the time, and 2016 Spain was after the race, he said that was a strategy error on his side and not on the other side. And you see moments like that when you say, he saw the writing that, probably the way this is going to go, that even if there is an option that one time that I can win on the car will work on sometimes with the Red Bull, at that point of time was not really good.
Yeah,
so on the day that Red Bull will work, I don't think that they would have given him the priority. But on Renault's, if in case he wins or, hits the jackpot and Renault is a half decent car, Renault would have actually given him the priority and understanding to, just go and win whatever you do. So I think he banked his cards on that.
Yeah. I think
gamble,
so.
man. It comes out red, it comes out black. So.
But it's still a dumb. It still didn't make any sense.
No.
I mean, I think the only thing you can look back on and say, well, he won a race with McLaren, and that's about it.
Yeah, a big name. Yes, exactly. Didn't think
I mean,
think it through.
But in terms of if his overall thought process was, I'm going to go somewhere that's going to give me the opportunity to be competitive and win championships. No, looking at Renault, he should have. The moment he looked at Renault, he should have been like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
Yeah, I think
that's not going to happen.
I think even McLaren next year is not going ahead of P4.
Oh no! No! They will not. They will not.
Because they're fighting Alpine this year. And like you said,
yeah, because
Daisy,
I think
Daisy, as he stayed at Renault, Alpine, or whatever you want to call them, he'd have probably been in a competitive package this year. But again, hindsight is a wonderful thing. We don't know, but
in as much we like Daniel, I think one part about him that we are missing in this discussion is he's a little bit of one of those people who are motivated by money. Have you noticed he's willing to sacrifice sometimes performance for money? I'm sure his Renault deal and his McLaren deal was a one-up step on each other, even though it didn't make sense to make those moves. The money is the only thing that made sense in all these moves. And
Well, that's
even
what I said.
Red Bull right now, and foregoing the Haas seat, I'm sure that he probably has a better money deal through sponsorships and all that
Mm.
in the field than he would have had elsewhere. Daniel is a nice person. I like Daniel a lot. But then sometimes the way he moves, I
Yeah.
would reckon that the motivation might be catch. And it might skip over our heads and think that maybe Daniel is in it for championship. He has no chance to get a championship at this point.
Yeah.
Young
Danny,
driver,
Yes,
Ricciardo is
you're
in it for
right.
vibes.
Mm.
not
Ricciardo is
let
in it for vibes because if you can come out and say it publicly that you're not into all of this data stuff, you just want to get in the car and drive,
Mm.
realizing that Formula One is such a data driven sport that
Mm.
you're not willing to invest the time to understand the data, to work with your team, to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
do the small things to succeed.
Mm.
Then you shouldn't be on the grid. Then you're just there to just like joke about because he's always seemed to be joking. Everything seems to be a joke with him, and you're like, dude. At
Mm.
some point, you're gonna. We understand the whole, his personality traits, and so on. But at some point, you're gonna have to get serious and like, yo, fuck this shit. Yes, excuse my
Mm.
French. You're gonna be like, yo, you know what? I need to get serious. I need to buckle down because
Yeah.
that should have hit him when he realized Lando was starting to
Yes.
beat his ass. Because if you compare Lando this year to Lando of last year, he's not acting as childish as he previously was. He seems to have been he's more focused on what he's doing now.
Yeah,
And
but
he's
with
he's
Mm.
Lando, but don't forget with Lando, when Lando had signs, them two used to love Joe, love Ron Joe
but yeah,
a bit. But now that science is gone, it's just like
but
Lando started to step up a bit and like,
but you
you
just
know what I'm saying?
you basically solidifying what I'm saying. He has changed his approach. He's gone away from being this old, always jovial, always looking to make jokes up.
Yeah,
He still
yeah.
at times acts a bit childish, but he's
Mm,
gotten to a point now where he seems to have, like, okay,
bored.
I need to take this shit seriously.
Mm,
I need to, I need to, I want to succeed. I want to put myself in the shop window. That
Mm.
if a McLaren seat, Red Bull seat was available to him, and he didn't take Red Bull seat, which he has his reasons why. But Ricciardo is a joker, man. Carry on.
Yeah, Ricardo is a joke. I agree with you when it comes to trying to get serious and win races and win championship. Because I understand, before you can fine tune a car to your driving style, you have to be in a team at least for a year. For you to understand how their car operates. You know what you want, and from there you can start winning races. But for him, he keeps jumping. He's a whore. He's a whore when it
Okay,
comes to him.
okay. Put it this way. Do you
mm.
think? Do you think if Lewis said he's going to retire tomorrow, you think Mercedes will be looking to sign Ricciardo?
No. Oh no. No, no, no. And I hope they don't. I really hope they don't
No,
look
no, no,
that way.
no.
Oh
I'm not
my
saying they're
god.
going to, but if Lewis said he was going to retire tomorrow, and Ricciardo is available on the market, do you think Mercedes are going to pursue him?
Nah, man.
I doubt. Because Mercedes, they normally look at a lot of things before they sign up their driver. So no, I highly doubt they'll do.
No, but I think what they will do, well, no, they wouldn't sign him up, of course. Not. It's just like, yeah, if you're a guy that you're not data driven,
Mm.
then yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ricciardo. I mean, his fall from grace
yeah.
it's not pleasant to look at, but
Mm.
sometimes you make your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
what he's
I
done.
think he made his bed, and he has to, you know,
I've,
deal with
yeah,
what's coming his way because he's made some poor choices.
he shouldn't have.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's made some very poor career
he
choices.
shouldn't have
Mm.
left Tim. That's the,
I
you know,
mean,
he
I mean,
shouldn't have left
the only
Renault.
person I could look at and say has made worse career choices than him is Alonso. Right on the grid. If you
Eh,
look at the grid,
Alonso is
but
just an old man who is trying to do something with his
no,
life. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Where Alonso is now in his career is because of his career choice. Is it the choices he made?
Ugh.
So, and they've all been absolute horrible choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he went to Ferrari.
No, move to Ferrari wasn't a bad move,
But what
but
about
he created an environment that,
the toxic environment?
yeah, everywhere he has gone,
Mm.
it's always seems to be some form of tension. He got fired from Ferrari. You see
Mercedes.
you see what happened. You see what happened with Mercedes. No, not Mercedes, with McLaren. He cost
McLaren.
McLaren the Honda deal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he burnt that shit down and then left.
Oh my God.
You see what's happening with him and Alpine now. They're
Yeah.
not. It's an acrimonious. Is that the word? Acrimonious, whatever. It's just a bad situation. He always seems to create this thing around him that just like, dude, can't you just go somewhere without being an ass?
Oh, exactly.
Just don't be an ass.
Ay.
Can't you just not? And I think people should have known who Alonso is, because when he won his first title in 2005, by December, he announced that he was joining McLaren in 2007. So you should have known that, yeah.
But he was a double world champion then, wasn't
No,
No.
2005.
Five.
His first championship was 2005. His second one was 2006.
Six.
But after winning his first one, he pretty much came out. It was a couple weeks after, like, yo, I've signed with McLaren for 2007. So you should kind of get some idea of that, like, who he is. But me personally, I don't care. I'm glad he made those career choices, because I don't like him.
And I was.
And Lance is about to send his sorry ass to retirement. Very soon.
No. You know what? Next year, people should have popcorn in front of TV, watching the whole Alonso Aston Martin thing, because him and Alonso can't talk shit
No,
about
but
Lance Jr.
Lance does not give a shit about actually who he's like. He does not give a shit like if there are people coming behind him, or if about the limits of the racing. If he's going that far, he's just going because his seat is not under threat, right? Like,
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Alonso can't go in there thinking he can talk shit about Lance Jr. because, hey, dude, my dad writes your paycheck, you better watch it. My dad signs your check. And you can tell, looking at Lance Sr., he looks like a man who you don't want to get on his wrong side.
Oh no.
And him and Alonso, at some point, they're gonna knock heads.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm 100% confident they're gonna knock heads. And I just realized Alonso is gonna be the only one. Is he? I'm sure he's gonna be the only driver on the grid to have used every single power unit.
No, Kevin did that already.
Kevin Magnussen did that?
Yeah, I think he did it with Ferrari.
Oh yeah, because he drove the McLaren in 2014.
He did the McLaren Honda and the McLaren, and now, and then what else did he drive?
When did he do Renault? Oh yeah, he was at Renault.
Yeah,
he was at
Renault
Renault.
with Carlos. Yeah, he was at
Yeah,
Renault.
he was at Renault. He was at Honda. He did the Mercedes and McLaren.
Wow.
Because
when did he do the McLaren Mercedes?
when it was
2014
when he got it on the podium, dude. The 2014 race, he got it on the podium. Come on, man, Australia. Thanos, you're on mute. Thanos, you muted yourself, dude. Either way, but
carry on talk. I'm having a conversation with my two kids. They want
but I think Kevin drove all the power units, and I think Alonso is the next one to do that because he's already driven Ferrari and Renault and Honda famously, but now he's going to do that. I wonder if when Audi comes back, he would look at Audi like, I want that one too. Because I think Bottas has been happy ever since Audi said that they're coming back in. Bottas has been smiling, and in every interview when they talk about Audi, Bottas has been saying that Audi should invest in our team right now to build it up by 2026. I think Bottas wants to keep that seat by the time Audi comes in. He probably might be able to, I think. Not sure.
Audi, who do you think Audi is gonna pick as their drivers? Are they going for all German?
I think they said they want all Germans. I think that if there is some development left in Mick, I think Mick would want to be picked up by Audi.
And also Seb has made has shown some intentions of coming back to Audi. So probably they
But
will
I think
go.
Seb by 2026, I don't think he's gonna wait like 3 years in the line. I think 23, 4, and 5 as sabbaticals, and then come back to the. It'll be a vastly different racetrack for him to come back to. To be honest, I don't think Seb's coming back, even though Lewis has said that he is, and I think there are many people who said it. I don't think he is coming back.
But he's definitely regretting his retirement right now. That is for sure. Even though he might
because
not
I
come
think
back.
he just gave it up because there was too much effort put in Aston where it wasn't going anywhere. I think if Aston was half decent and if they were fighting where Alpine is right now for P4, he would have kept on going for a couple of more years.
Yeah,
But
sure.
But I think Aston is the reason why why Seb retired. I think Aston made him retire at this stage.
And I have a question. I had you guys discuss about the car, the weights of the car. So I wanted to know about 2026, since they are going we are going to have new engine regulations. Is it going to make the cars? I'm not an engineer, so I don't understand these things so much. Is it going to make the cars heavier or lighter than what we have now? Because
you would expect like from 2022, you will already see that the 2023 cars will be heavier since there are new. I think we already talked about it, but there were new rules about the roll hoop that failed on the Alfa Romeo. So that would already be there. And then once you get to 2026, there is, a lot of components changing, and probably by that point of time, it will get heavier again. I don't expect, because obviously when you have more ERS power, I think they were focusing on like 350 kilowatts. That's about 500 horsepower out of just the batteries and that's insane. I think I don't even know how they will get that kind of region from the engine and from the and while the turbo would not have MGUH, they'll only get it from the brakes. So I don't know how they'll get it, but I think 2026 cars will definitely be heavier probably.
This is going to take a toll on a lot of things because the cars are going to be heavier. That means drivers will have to, get more training, be more physically trained, and we'll be having more races. It is going to be so exhausting for the drivers and the teams. And also, of course, they need to increase the number of PUs that is allowed before you get penalties. I don't know.
I think they spoke about PUs today, that they want to lock down on the strategic PU changes because I think everybody voiced their disapproval of it, especially after what Lewis did in Brazil last year. And then by the end of the year, they were really happy. And this year, although Ferrari tried and failed, but I think everybody has been changing engines like free cotton candy. Like every race you hear that there's this penalty for everyone. I think nobody stayed within the limits apart from the Mercedes cars. Not the Mercedes factory cars, but I think they went through. Both of them went through one crashes each. I think the crash at Spa ruined Lewis's engine, so he had to take a new engine. And I think Russell's engine was also damaged in the Silverstone crash. So I think if that would have not happened, I think Mercedes were on track to actually stay within the limits of the engine regulations, but nobody else complied with them this year. Like literally nobody else.
Oh, okay, that's good for Mercedes. All right, thanks for that.
Yeah, I think Will's here if we want to talk. No? No. Yeah, he's on mute, I think.
Yeah, you called. Someone
Yeah,
mentioned. Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, so sorry. Hi. I don't know if you can hear me, but probably the rain's is coming down where I am. So yeah. So what do you think are the expectations for qualies tomorrow?
I don't know why.
The Red Bulls, according to what I saw today, the Red Bulls were so good. They did well, especially on FP2. So I expect one of them to get, especially Max. I don't like it, and it really breaks me when I say this, but I think Max is gonna back Paul, and I don't like it. I really hope something happens to him. I'm sorry.
No, I think but I think for the for overall for the quali, I think they'll just I think Red Bull has too much pace on their side.
Yeah.
You just can't do anything about them. They're like too fast on the straights.
Yeah, and when I saw some analysis on Twitter. Their DRS wing. My God, it's so. I think we lost like what 9 kilometers, 6 kilometers. Ferrari is 9 kilometers. My God.
Yeah. I think, but that was I think FP1 when we had the higher downforce on, but in FP2 we put on the lower downforce. But we're still losing time, but
Yeah,
it's
we're
not that
losing time.
horrific anymore. I don't think that there is competition in terms of in terms of pole position that way.
Oh, it's
Is the
anyway.
driver? Oh, sorry. Is the driver grid for next year full? By the way.
Sorry.
The driver, the grid itself. Is there any seat that's open? Any free seats?
No.
No, I think everything's done now.
Williams, did they confirm Logan?
Yeah, I think they said that Logan's gonna get the points and then they'll just sign the contract.
Oh,
so I think after the race on Sunday, I think Logan will be confirmed.
Who's gonna partner Lando?
Piastri.
The grid's fully stacked for next year. Everything's been confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna be interesting. I think Nick is gonna drive for AlphaTauri, right? De Vries.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting.
Next year's grid is going to be very interesting. We will have we will have Max fighting with the Checo.
Well,
we will have Ocon and Gasly. Remember, they have like a mini rivalry there that people don't know. We will have Stroll and Alonso. I'm actually here for that. Oh my God, I am here for that.
I think Stroll and Alonso will be the most entertaining part of the season.
Oh yes,
because it's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if they're gonna knock heads. It's just when.
Exactly. It's just when. Yeah.
It's a pretty much guaranteed because it's Alonso. He's gonna piss off somebody. He has to piss somebody off. It just wouldn't be the same if he didn't piss someone off. And Lance Stroll Senior just looks like the sort of person that would actually slap the taste out of his mouth. So I'm looking forward to see how that whole dynamic pans out between the two of them. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. Don't have kids because my 2 kids are annoying me. So if anything, we catch up tomorrow, and all the best. Take it. Good evening and good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.